So it's almost 2018 and it's time for Aubrey to create some New Year's resolutions. And I think I know what you can do. You can start staying organized. And the perfect tool for that would be Google Calendar.
A, I am organized, and B, I do have a Google Calendar.
You do?
No, I don't. But you're right, Google Calendar is a great way to get organized with your PLC, your grade levels, your school, or even with your students. And we're going to show you how you can do that on this week's episode of IT.
So I'm not sure how many people know, but Google has changed the look of their calendar application. So in order to be able to upgrade to this new calendar, all you need to do is go to calendar.google.com, log in if you haven't done so already, and then in the upper right hand corner you'll see a blue button that says Use New Calendar. So once you click on that blue button, there'll be another button that says Upgrade Now. Click on that and you're all set. So let's first take a look at how to create calendars inside Google Calendar. This could be used for creating meetings within your PLC.
So once you log into Google Calendar, you will see a plus sign on the left-hand side that says Add Other Calendar. So if you go ahead and select that plus sign, you can then select the New Calendar button. After selecting the New Calendar button, you can give your new calendar a name, followed by a description for this calendar. After you've given your calendar a name as well as a description, you can go ahead and select Create Calendar. After you've created the calendar, you will see it then listed on the left-hand side.
Google Calendar is great for a lot of different reasons, but staying connected with people might be the most important. For example, as a teacher, I could share my calendar with my students, allowing them to receive any new notifications I need them to get.
So like Aubrey said, sharing your calendar is extremely easy, and it's ideal if you want to make a class calendar and be able to notify your students for certain events or due dates for certain assignments. So on the left I have a class calendar. If I just hit the down arrow, I will get a lot of different settings right here. So what you'll need to do is if you want to share your calendar or look at the different permissions, just select Access Permissions. So if we go over here to the right, you can see that you can make your calendar available to the public. And when you do that, you'll just need to be aware that anybody in the world that has internet access will be able to view this calendar. So typically, you're not going to select that option. You can also make your calendar available for anyone inside CMS. Then you'll see on the right-hand side, there are a couple different settings you can change there as well. And you can also get a shareable link to send via email. So below that, you'll see where you'll be able to share your calendar with specific people. And this is where you'll be able to add people from maybe a PLC if you have a PLC calendar, or you can add your students' Google or CMS email address and share it with them. So to get started with sharing it with specific people, you're going to go ahead and select Add People. From here, you can type your students' CMS email address, which is their ID number at student.cms.k12.nc.us. So a lot of times, rather than just typing all of those in, you'll have your students' email addresses in a spreadsheet. From there, you will be able to copy and paste those into this box. So all you have to do is copy those from the spreadsheet and paste them in here. Then after entering all of the people you want to share the calendar with, below that you'll see the permissions box. If you hit that down arrow, you'll be able to see the different options where you'll probably want to allow your students to just see the event details because you don't actually want them to make changes to the event. So this is probably the option you're going to get. Now, if your calendar is a PLC calendar, you might want people to make changes to events. It just depends on the type of calendar you have. So once you do that, you'll want to go ahead and select Send, and the people will be notified that you're sharing a calendar with them. Then they will be able to view that calendar when they go to calendar.google.com.
So now that you know how to share your calendar, it doesn't do much good without any events on it. So let's take a look at how you can add an event and then add different resources or different features to those events.
So when you're ready to create an event inside of your Google Calendar, you have a couple different options. If you want to do what's called a quick add, you can just click on the date that you want the event to occur, and a quick add box will appear. When you're doing it this way, one thing you want to be sure is that you make sure that you select the correct calendar if you have multiple calendars. Now, as you can tell, a lot of the options and different features are not available when you do Quick Add. So if you want to get into an in-depth event where you add different items and different features, you want to go down to the plus sign in the bottom right-hand corner and click on that. And then from here, you can add your event. So I have added a Unit 1 event, and I'm going to make that for Monday the 18th. Now, you can give it a time, or you can just make this an all-day event. So obviously, if it's a test, I'll just go ahead and make this an all-day event. So below that, you'll see event details, and this is where you'll be able to add more details to the event. Once again, you'll want to make sure that you have the right calendar selected. This is one thing that can really mess you up if you don't have the right calendar selected. Below that, you'll see an area where you can type a description of the event. What is great about this is the ability to attach files inside of Google Drive. So if you click on that paperclip, you can then add any file you want inside of Google Drive. It could be a presentation, maybe it's a review document for your students studying for a test, any sort of thing that you have from Google Drive. Another nice feature is the ability to add a link. So you can click on the link button and then type in a URL address that the students can click on after you obviously shared this calendar with them. So that's the ability to add an event. Other things are you will have the ability to add guests to your event. So if you click on the add guest, you can just go ahead and type in the person's email address, and you'll be able to share or add them as a guest to this event. So maybe you're having a meeting. If you have a PLC calendar and you're having a meeting, you might want to add guest to that meeting. So this is how you would add an event, as well as add different features in the description of the event inside of your Google Calendar.
There's so much that you can do with a Google Calendar, and with the new redesign that they have now, I can definitely see more and more teachers beginning to use it.
And we've only hit the tip of the iceberg with Google Calendar. There's a lot of other great features that it has, like adding appointment slots, as well as adding the calendar to your mobile device. That's going to do it for this episode. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you check us out next week for another edition of IT Weekly.